So I am driving through Fresno, and there's a slowdown for road construction, so I figured I would try this out, see how this works. This is a selfie stick, so I have, I'm not going to discuss that. So I left Bakersfield yesterday about 4 o'clock after saying hi to Jan on the way out of town. And I went to Tulare, where I went to see the COS production of Evita, and crashed at a friend's house in Tulare. Got up this morning, and now I'm headed to Monterey. And Monterey being the first stop outside of the Central Valley, I kind of consider it to be the actual beginning of the tour. So everything that's happened so far has essentially been prologue. So I've been asked by almost all those friend videos and the people I've hung out with before leaving town who didn't. I'm sure it scares you because one hand is on the selfie stick and the other hand is on the wheel, but note the trees in the background and how fast they are not moving. Yeah, that's what the traffic looks like in front of me. I'm doing 4 at the moment. So people are going, so what are you doing? Where are you going? And so anybody who goes, where are you going? The answer is, well, I'm going everywhere. So this one's kind of I guess I don't have an orientation video for the trip yet, so I'm going to make this one that. So a couple months back, I had an invitation from 2 different friends who both live in Mississippi to come hang out, visit, say hi. So that's where the idea started, that I was going to drive cross country to see these 2 friends, one of whom lives in Jackson, and the other is Fagans and his family. They live in Oxford, Mississippi. I hope I have those straight. I think I do. And so initially the plan is to go visit them. And then I was like, well, if I'm driving to Mississippi, I will go visit friends who live in New Orleans and Houston. And so I started adding other places I wanted to go to the Mississippi trip. And then I started adding other places I wanted to go on the other side of Mississippi if the trip was to continue. So I definitely wanted to stop in Boston. I definitely wanted to spend a couple weeks in Wisconsin. And so you may have seen the map that has all the areas circled that I plan on stopping. Everything that's circled is either somewhere that I have friends that I want to visit or something that I want to see. Because once I started charting all the friends, then I went, well, if I'm going to go visit those people, well, I have the time and the resources to stop and see places that I want to see that I've never seen. So when I added Boston to the trip, I went, well, I've never been to Gettysburg, and I've never been to Antietam, and I've never been to Lexington and Concord. Usually when I've traveled, when I go to improv festivals and stuff like that, I go in, I do the job, I perform, I do a workshop, and I leave. And I don't have time to visit the place. And that was especially acute in 2016 when I went to Dublin to perform and to teach at Improv Fest Ireland. And there was a problem with my passport. And so instead of a week in Dublin where I would have had a chance to visit and explore, I wound up with 3 days there, and I could only really do the show, do the workshop, be a part of the festival, and then get out. And so the 3 days were spent essentially jet lagged, and I never really got used to being there and got the chance to explore. So now I have the chance to go visit places open-ended, and so I started listing places I wanted to see that I haven't seen. So a lot of stuff went on the list. I know Tombstone, Arizona is going to be early in the list, or in the trip. Dodge City's in there. Houston Space Center, NASA, things like that. There's a whole list of 15 or so in DC. Niagara Falls is on the list. Statue of Liberty. I didn't visit the Statue of Liberty when I was in New York, like 2011, I think it was. Saw the World Trade Center site, so I don't know if I'm going to visit that again because I've seen it. But I'll definitely make time to go to the Statue of Liberty. Maybe catch a Broadway show. So it was friends, and then it was things to see, and then I had started writing stand-up again, because I haven't touched stand-up since like 2010. And so I decided, well, if I'm going to do that, why don't I challenge myself to see what open mics I can be a part of, what stages I can get on, where I can perform, where I can play, and that kind of thing. So I found an app that helps me chart open mics in major metropolitan areas, so that became a part of the trip. And then I created rules for the material I was writing. So I can't do the same piece in the same room twice. No piece will get more than 3 performances, so there'll be an introduction, polish, and then an essentially finished product. So I'm hoping to come back from this trip with, my goal is 2 hours. It's a goal, but it's open-ended. 2 hours worth of material. We've slowed down again. I'm at 2 and stopping. Looks like it's moving on the other side, but I'm not. So then people went, well, how long is that going to be? And I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was going to be a minimum of 2 because I know 2 months, because I knew the places I wanted to stop for at least a week. But then I was like, this looks like it's going to be at least 5 or 6 months, and it's really kind of open-ended. It's just kind of the plan is to have no plan. I moved out on my own at 17, and because I don't have a whole lot of family, I've always lived according to a plan. I've been setting goals and then pursuing those goals, and when you reach those goals, you set new goals, and that keeps moving me forward, and that's done fairly well for me. But it also scares me to not have a plan. One friend of mine who is OCD and lives by spreadsheets and to-do lists and stuff like that, she heard what I was planning to do, and she said, you're breaking free of all the patterns you've got. And I went, yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense. And that's a good descriptor of what I'm doing. So the plan is really to have no plan, to be where I am, to invent each day from day to day, to figure out where I'm sleeping on an ongoing basis. So the first leg of this was kind of an exercise in that. I was going to go to Paso first, and then Melissa, who invited me to come hang out in Paso, she got sick, and so I couldn't go there yesterday, and so Tulare was a whim. And so I'm going to do Tulare. I did Tulare, Monterey tonight, and then hit Paso tomorrow. And hopefully Melissa will be feeling better on my way south, where I'll be heading. I'll go through LA. Since LA is proximate to where I live, I probably won't spend a whole lot of time in LA. Lancaster, I might stop in because I have a friend who has a show next Monday. We'll see if I make that. And then San Diego to visit family for probably a week before I cut into Arizona. But beyond that, I mean, there's essentially a training wheels to this, because I mean, once I move into Arizona, I lived in Phoenix for 2 years, so I'm somewhat familiar with it. And then I'll go to Vegas, which I spent a lot of time in. And then once I leave Vegas, it's kind of, I don't know what's next. So I'm hoping people will suggest things I need to see. If people offer a place to crash along the way, that's cool. It's not necessary or expected or anything like that. I'll figure out where to sleep, even if it's in the car, which is why I did that experimenting. But it's be where I am and invent each day as it comes. See what's within driving distance of wherever base camp is today, and then go see what's there. And film as much as I can along the way while still being present in the moment. So there'll be pictures and video of Tombstone and the Hoover Dam and the Grand Canyon. I'll be experimenting with that. Even Tulare was a step in the process, because I didn't organize the way I packed. And so almost everything that was in the car had to go into the house where I was crashing last night. And so my friend offered to help me pack more efficiently, but then when I got up in the morning, I went, oh, it's kind of the process here. I've encountered a problem. Let's solve the problem as we go. So I did. I reorganized everything that was packed so that a lot of it, like I have a wardrobe that was in my suitcase. And so I readjusted the suitcase because the wardrobe is planned for cold weather and warm weather and all that. So I readjusted the suitcase to be the stuff that I need to take in on any given night. So my laptop is now in the suitcase. And my shorts, which I probably won't need until June, they're not. My swimsuit's not. Most of my compression workout shirts, they're not, the nerdy comic book ones. And so I've got what needs to go inside down to the suitcase, one garment bag, the guitar, and the PlayStation bag. That's it. Those are the 4 things that have to go in. And there's some food packed, but as I eat the food, I won't be replenishing. It's food that I took out of my house that I didn't want to throw away and didn't want to store because, I don't know. So that'll get eaten, and I'll only replenish food on a daily basis. So the stores of food and the ice chests, they will dwindle down and get smaller, and it'll all get more efficient. So yeah, I'm excited about the problem solving along the way, and I'm excited about the things I'm going to get to see and the people that I'm going to visit and the things I'm going to do, the experiences I'm going to have. Are there questions to be answered? Maybe. If those questions get answered along the way, cool. They may not. Life may not have answers to those questions. Yeah. One friend, I don't remember if Jamie said this on video, breaking free didn't have the ring of truth to him. He said people do this kind of trip to figure out who they are, to find themselves. And he said, I don't think you're trying to find yourself. You know who you are. And I do know essentially who I am and how I feel about who I am, and I'm cool with that no matter who's not. He said, you're trying to find home. And that may be the case. Maybe someplace along the way feels like home, and is someplace I want to stop. Last night I actually added a new piece of itinerary to the trip after seeing Evita at COS. I decided that wherever I stop, I'm likely going to do a job search of community colleges to see who's hiring and for what. I'm not going to apply for anything. I'm just going to see what's out there, because if somewhere feels like home, I will be practiced at the job search and might have some ideas what direction to go next. One friend, educational friend, Octavio, he's said something to this effect in the video, I think. He doesn't think I'm coming back to teaching. He thinks I'm done and I'm moving on. He has a great deal of faith in the stand-up I've been writing, probably more faith than I do, and I appreciate that, and it's deeply heartfelt. But there's no plan, and there's no expectation, and we're going to see where it all goes. It's an amazing opportunity I've been handed. I feel lucky. I feel blessed. I feel fortunate, and I'm excited for the weeks and months to come. So if you have anything you want to throw in, the whole thing's going to develop as it goes, and this is to me and to you. Last night I made the decision, or this morning I made the decision to keep a playlist of songs. And initially I went, I'm going to add a song every day, and then I went, nope, that's too much like a plan. So I'm going to add songs when I feel like it. And so the first one was Born to Be Wild, which played as I went out of town, and Don't Cry For Me Argentina got added today because of Evita last night, and other songs have already been suggested that are going to go on the list eventually when I get to them. I'm up 26 miles an hour and traffic is speeding up, so I'm going to drive safe and get to Monterey sometime this afternoon. Have a good one. Peace out.